morning to our respected principal ma'am, teachers, seniors, and my fellow mates. We are delightful to welcome you all in today's session, which is on renal function test and its clinical application. Now I would like to introduce our speakers.
I am speaker number 1, Komal.
Speaker number 2, Harshita Gautam.
Speaker number 3, Shruti Jain.
Speaker number 4, Indra Chaudhary.
Speaker number 5, Shanaya.
I'm speaker number 6, Priyanka Bhuria.
Speaker number 7, Saurabh Jain.
Speaker number 8, Amika Malik.
I am speaker number 1 and my topic is kidney, nephron and its functions. आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ, आ रही.
Shaped paired organ, weight 150 gram in male and 135 gram in females. It is primary urinary organ enclosed within 3 fibrous capsules. The outer layer is renal capsule, middle is adipose capsule, and the inner layer is renal fascia. Kidney has two regions, outer cortex and inner medulla. Outer cortex had two zones, outer cortical zone and inner juxtamedullary zone. Nephron. Nephron is structural and functional unit of our kidney. Approximately 1 million nephron is present per kidney. Nephrons are of two types, cortical nephron and juxtamedullary nephrons. And nephrons have two components, which are tubular components and vascular components. Vascular components. In vascular component, the dominant part is glomerulus. Glomerulus is stuffed of glomerular capillaries. Renal arteries enter the kidney and forms afferent arterioles which supplies each nephron. Afferent arterioles deliver blood to the glomerulus. Glomerular capillaries rejoin to form another arterioles, the efferent arteriole. Blood that was not filtered in the glomerulus goes to the efferent arterioles. Efferent arterioles give second set of capillaries, the peritubular capillaries, which supplies the renal tissue and are important in exchange with tubular system. Peritubular capillaries rejoin to form venules and drain in renal vein. Tubular component. It is hollow, fluid-filled like tube, which component. Its components are Bowman capsule, proximal convoluted tubules, distal convoluted tubules, loop of Henle, collecting duct, and juxtaglomerular apparatus. In Bowman's capsules, extended double-walled invagation that cups around the glomerula to collect fluid from the glomerular capillaries. From Bowman's capsule, filtered fluid pass into PCT. PCT lies in cortex. From PCT, the fluid passes into loop of Henle. Loop of Henle is a U-shaped, which hairpin loop-like structure, which lies in renal medulla. Loop Henle goes from cortex to medulla, and ascending lip of loop of Henle goes from medulla to cortex. Ascending limb of loop of Henle from DCT lies in cortex. Its important points are: all nephrons originate in the cortex. The kidney cannot regenerate new nephrons. Glomeruli of cortical nephron lies in the outer layer of cortex, and glomeruli of juxtamedullary nephron lies in the inner layer of the cortex near the medulla. Aging causes a gradual decrease in nephron number. Functions of kidney are regulating blood volume and pressure, regulating plasma ion concentration, stabilizing blood pH, conserving nutrients, maintains blood sugar level, filter many liters of fluid from blood, removal of waste products from body fluids, and discharge of waste products into the environment, activation and metabolism of vitamin D, of ammonia and hippuric acid, and also some inorganic phosphates. Now the further topic is continued by Harshita.
I am speaker number 2. My topic is renal function test and why it is done. So we will begin with its introduction. A test in which blood or urine samples are checked for the amount of certain substances released by the kidneys. A higher or lower than normal amount of a substance can be a sign that the kidneys are also called as kidney function test. So what is RFT? RFT क्या है? Kidney function test is a group of blood tests that are done to determine the kidney's working, to evaluate the health of kidney. So basically it's a group of blood tests performed to check the normal functioning of kidney. Kidneys are an important organ of our body. Its functions are formation of urine as a waste product. It removes the waste product from our body. Excretion of NPN substances means non-protein nitrogen substances which are end product of nitrogen metabolism. Regulation of salt and water balance, so it maintains the salt-water balance in our body. Regulation of acid-base balance, so regulation of acid-base balance is done by excretion of H+ ions and bicarbonate ions from our body. Production of hormones, the hormones include renin, erythropoietin and vitamin D. Renin controls our blood pressure. Erythropoietin important for the formation of blood and RBCs. Vitamin D is important for bones and also the formation of urine. Why RFT is done? The question arises why RFT is done. What is the need of RFT? To identify the renal dysfunction, also called as kidney failure, a condition in which kidney loses the ability to remove waste and balance fluids. This condition can also arise due to any chronic kidney disease or due to acute renal failure in which kidney suddenly can't filter waste from the blood. To diagnose any renal disease, for example nephritis or nephrosis, to monitor disease progression, it means already अगर कोई disease kidney में है तो उसका increment और उसका decrement check करने के लिए भी RFT किया जाता है. To monitor response to any treatment, करने के लिए कोई treatment चल रहा है तो उस treatment से क्या effect हो रहा है ये check करने के लिए RFT किया जाता है. Increased or decreased frequency of urine, it means normal amount of urine in healthy human being is 2 liters per day. If it increases or decreases, it means there is any problem in kidney. Abnormal swelling around the eyes and the body. In some kidney disease, abnormal swelling occurs around the eyes. Example, periorbital edema. To monitor the efficacy of therapy given for treating a kidney disease, किसी भी कोई भी थेरेपी अगर दी गई है किडनी को तो उसकी एफिकेसी मतलब उसका कितना अफेक्ट हो रहा है किडनी पे, इस चीज के लिए भी RFT होता है. टू स्क्रीन द पीपल हु आर एट हाई रिस्क ऑफ किडनी डिजीज, हाई रिस्क में जो पीपल होते हैं उनके लिए भी RFT किया जाता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल डायबिटिक पेशेंट्स, हाई ब्लड प्रेशर जिनका होता है, हार्ट डिजीज वाले, उसके लिए ऑपरेशंस बिफोर प्रेगनेंसी एंड बिफोर कीमोथेरेपी एक्सेट्रा. It gives information about following parameters: renal blood flow, glomerular filtration, renal tubular function, urinary outflow unhindered by any obstruction. Renal function test also includes urea, creatinine and uric acid level. It also tells about the abnormal increment or decrement about these three parameters. Normal value of urea is 2.5 to 7.8 millimole per liter. Normal value of creatinine is 0.8 to 1. Value of uric acid in male is 3.4 to 7.0 milligram per deciliter, and in females it is 2.4 to 6.0 milligram per deciliter. Renal function tests are broadly divided into urine analysis, concentration and dilution test, blood chemistry, and renal clearance test. Now Shruti will explain further. Thank you.
I'm speaker number 3, and my topics are parameters of renal function test and divisions and subdivisions of renal function test. First, we will discuss about parameters of renal function test. Parameters of renal function test include blood urea nitrogen, BUN, uric acid, and creatinine. If the values of these parameters gets rearranged, it gives information about improper functioning of the kidney. First, we will discuss about blood urea nitrogen. Blood urea nitrogen is a test to measure the amount of urea nitrogen present in the blood. B, the measure of the amount of nitrogen present in the blood in the form of urea. Blood urea nitrogen test हम करते हैं to know the amount of nitrogen in blood in the form of urea. इसकी norm 7 to 2 mg per deciliter. Uric acid. The uric acid test indicates the level of uric acid in the blood and serve as an indirect estimate. This amount of uric acid in the blood is called hyperuricemia. ब्लड में यूरिक एसिड का अमाउंट ज्यादा हो जाता है तो उसे हाइपरयूरिसीमिया बोलते हैं. एक्सेस यूरिक एसिड causes gout fluid between joints. Hyperuricemia also causes the formation of hard lumps of uric acid crystals called tufi under the skin and at the top of the ears. Uric acid crystals can also accumulate in the kidney and causes kidney stones. ज़्यादा यूरिक एसिड होने के कारण हार्ड लम्स बनने लग जाते हैं. यूरिक एसिड क्रिस्टल्स के टूफी हो जाता है और किडनी स्टोन्स बना देता है. इसकी नॉर्मल वैल्यू फीमेल में होती है 2.4 to 6.0 मिलीग्राम पर डेसीलीटर और मेल में होती है 3.4 to 7.0 milligram per deciliter. Creatinine. This test measures the level of creatinine in blood. Creatinine is almost completely serves as an indication of the kidney function. क्रिएटिनिन का पूरा एक्सक्रीशन किडनी करती है. अगर क्रिएटिनिन की वैल्यू ब्लड में ज्यादा या डिक्रीज हो जाती है, इट सर्व एज एन इंडिकेशन ऑफ इम्प्रॉपर फंक्शनिंग ऑफ द किडनी. Excess creatinine in the blood can be found due to decreased elimination from the kidney as well as due to increased creatinine production by muscular breakdown, eating cooked meat, protein supplements. इसकी नॉर्मल वैल्यू मेल में होती है 0.6 to 1.2 per deciliter और फीमेल में होती है 0.5 to 1.1 mg per deciliter. Broad division of renal function test with subdivisions. Renal function test is broadly divided into 4 groups. Urine analysis, concentration and dilution test, blood chemistry, renal clearance test. Urine analysis is further subdivided into 3 groups: physical examination, chemical constituents, microscopy. Concentration and dilution tests are further subdivided into 2 groups: concentration test and dilution test. Blood chemistry are further subdivided into 4 groups: urea, blood urea nitrogen, BUN, creatinine, beta-2, microglobulin. Renal clearance tests are further subdivided into 3 groups: insulin or mannitol clearance test, creatinine clearance, urea clearance. The divisions and subdivisions are further explained in detail by my fellow group mates. Now Indu will continue the further slides.
Speaker number 4, Indira. My topic is renal biopsy. Introduction. Renal biopsy is a procedure used to obtain a segment of renal tissue, usually through a needle or another surgical instrument. Cutaneous renal biopsy was first described in early 1950s. Renal biopsy is now able to provide a tissue diagnosis in creating complications rate of less than 0.1%. Aim of renal biopsy: case severity, treatment of a kidney disorder, pathogenesis. Indications: Nephrotic syndrome, adult and children with atypical features, acute renal failure, undiagnosed, non-resolving clinical ATN more than 3 to 4 weeks. Dysfunction: subnephrotic proteinuria, hematuria, isolated, associated with proteinuria and abnormal urine sediments. Post-treatment diabetes mellitus. Contraindications. Absolute contraindications. Patient refuel, bleeding, diabetes, uncontrolled severe hypertension, presence of solitary native kidney. Relative. Azotemia, certain anatomical abnormality of kidney, skin infection at the described biopsy site, hematosis, alternate drugs, warfarin or heparin, pregnancy. Procedure. Informed constant patient in prone position with wedge or pillow below the abdomen, light sedation, local anesthesia 1-2% from the skin down to the capsule. Stab incision can be given to as biopsy gun entry. Advise the biopsy gun when the capsule is reached. Instruct patient to take a deep breath and fire the gun. 2 to 3 hours can be taken from the lower pole of the left kidney. Press on wound for 2 to 5 minutes. Complications. Dull edge pain, peripheral hematomas, visible hematuria, enterovenous fistulas, or death. Thank you. Now Shania will explain further.
I am speaker number 5 and I will discuss about urine analysis. Question is, what is urine analysis? Urine, which is done under various sections that are physical, involves a number of tests to detect and measure various compounds that pass through urine. The objective of urine analysis is to detect any disorder such as urinary tract infection, which is UTI, kidney disease, diabetes, etc. There are different methods to collect urine samples, namely midstream urine, in which initial part is discarded, batch collection in neonates and infants in sterile bags, and bladder catheterization. Urine analysis involves physical examination, chemical examination, and microscopic examination. In physical examination, the points we look upon are color, volume, odors, and specific gravity. In chemical examination, bodies, bilirubin, and blood. In microscopic examination, the points looked upon are red blood cells, white blood cells, casts, crystals, and epithelial cells. First is physical examination. For examination of urine, always fresh sample of urine is taken. The first point is color. Normally, the color of urine is pale and straw colored, which is due to the presence of pigments like urochrome, urobilin, and uroerythrin. Color of the urine can alter if there is the presence of phlegm, which is vitamin B2. The normal plasma value is 4 to 24 microgram per dl. If the value increases and it can also be due to bacterial infection of pseudohemoglobin, myoglobin, and porphyrin, the color changes to pink, orange, or red color. It can also indicate liver disease. If there is presence of RBC and melanin, the red, brown, and black color, as seen in above pictures. Second is volume. Normal volume of urine is 1.2 to 5 liters per day. There can be certain conditions when the volume can be altered. First is oliguria, in which urinary output is below normal, that is less than 400 ml per day. This can be due to renal failure, acute glomerulonephritis. Second is polyuria, in which large volume of urine is produced and urinary output becomes more than 2.5 liters per day. This can be seen in underlying conditions like increased water intake, diabetes mellitus, and insipidus. Third is anuria, when the kidneys aren't producing urine, and the urinary output is less than 100 ml per day. This can be seen in renal shutdown, when the kidneys stop working and are not able to remove waste and extra water from the body, and also seen in acute renal failure, and the symptoms arises with swelling due to fluid retention. Third is odor. Normally, the odor of the urine is when the urine due to any bacteria or kidney stone. In condition of phenylketonuria, This is the phenylalanine amino acid, which is an essential amino acid of our body, is not produced in the body, but it starts building up in body and the urine becomes musty smelling. In diabetes, the urine becomes sweet smelling, and in bladder retention, where the urine is retained in bladder for certain intervals and it's concentrated with waste products, the urine becomes ammonia smelling. Fourth is specific gravity. It is measured by urinometer. It is a measurement of urine density which reflects the ability of the kidney to concentrate or dilute the urine relative to the plasma, which is filtered, or plasma density. Normal specific gravity is 1.001 to 1.040 and average normal specific gravity is 1.018. There can be two conditions, increased specific gravity or decreased specific gravity. In increased specific gravity, the urine is the urine is concentrated, and in decreased specific gravity, the urine is dilute. In increased specific gravity, it can be due to low water intake, dehydration, synuria, that is increased solutes in urine, emesis, which is vomiting, and decreased blood flow to kidney. Decreased specific gravity
Shania, you are not audible.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
So decreased specific gravity. This can be due to absence of ADH, where water reabsorption is decreased and seen in renal tubular damage. Isoacinuria is the condition in which there is persistent production of low specific gravity urine isoosmolar with plasma. Second is chemical examination. These are done to detect the presence of protein, glucose, red cells, etc. to assess the permeability of glomerular membrane. Convenient dipstick tests are carried out with certain regions, in which first is pH. Kidney plays an important role in acid-base balance. Any condition in which there is production of acid or base in the body or is ingested in any form will alter the pH of urine. Normal pH of urine is 4.5 to 8. It ranges from 6 to 6.5 when it becomes slightly acidic after consuming high protein diet, as uric acid causes breakdown of protein, and after breakdown, protein increases in the blood. After meals, it becomes alkaline. As after meals, there is production of HCl by parietal cells in the stomach. These cells secrete bicarbonate ions across the basolateral membrane and into the blood, so the blood becomes alkaline. Second is protein. Normally, in a healthy individual, the amount of protein, specifically albumin, in urine is not detectable. The normal amount of albumin is less than 30 mg per dl and is tested negative. If the amount increases more than 30 mg per dl, then it can be due to any kidney disease, and the condition with increased amount of protein in urine is called proteinuria and albuminuria. Due to this condition, urine can be clean in nil. It can cause symptoms like fatigue, loss of appetite, micturition more often, and cause of proteinuria can be dehydration, inflammation of kidney, and high stress. Third is glucose. Normally, it is not present in urine as it is reabsorbed from the tubules. Normal glucose level in blood is 70 to 130 mg per dl. Renal threshold for glucose is 160 to 180 mg per dl. If it exceeds, glucose comes in urine, and this condition is known as glycosuria. It can occur due to high concentration of glucose in blood, which occurs in diabetes mellitus, or any kidney dysfunction where the ability to reabsorb the glucose is diminished and it appears in urine. As it's seen in picture, the gradings. Fourth is a blood from the body, and normally it is not present in the urine of healthy individuals. Bilirubin is formed in the liver from old RBCs, but if there is any biliary obstruction or hepatitis, conjugated bilirubin leaks into the bloodstream and is excreted in urine and is detectable for a liver disease. Can also be detected in jaundice, and causes yellow discoloration of the skin. The condition when bilirubin is excreted in urine is known as bilirubinuria. Fifth is blood. The small number of RBCs are normally present in urine, which can be seen in the microscopic examination and is not detectable, but if the number increases, then it gives a positive test. The condition when blood comes in urine is called hematuria or hemoglobinuria. It can be due to a kidney disease, certain medications, smoking, drugs, etc. Ketone bodies. Ketone bodies are the product of fat metabolism, which happens in cases of starvation or when enough or required amount of glucose isn't consumed, then body starts burning fat for energy. The causations can be loss of carbohydrates, insufficient insulin. If diabetes, carbohydrates are taken, can increase fat metabolism. Conditions when ketone bodies are present in ketonuria. Condition when ketone bodies are present in urine is known as ketonuria. It can also be seen in diabetic ketoacidosis. Third is microscopic examination. This test is carried out to see the presence of various components like red cells, white cells, epithelial cells, casts, and crystals. There are different types of cells, casts, and crystals seen in the picture. Cells can be of epithelial cells, pus casts or pus cells, blood cells, and blood casts and red blood cells, spermatozoa, casts, bacterial casts, granular casts, hyaline casts, waxy casts, fatty casts. Crystals can be calcium carbonate crystals, triple phosphate crystals, calcium phosphate crystals, ammonium urate crystals, and so on. And others are amorphous phosphate, mucocetes, cylindroids, fat droplets, etc. First is red blood cells, as there is seen in picture with red color under a microscope. High count of RBC in urine can indicate infection or kidney stone. This can be due to bleeding in the tubules. It may be due to inflammation of kidney, which is glomerulonephritis, and can be due to urinary system blockage. The condition when RBCs come in urine is known as hematuria. This can also be seen in infection of bladder, inflammation of bladder, kidney stones. When they break loose and pass through urinary tract, can cause blood to come in urine. Second is WBCs. As seen in the picture, they are pink stained. Evidence of WBC can be due to urinary tract infection, bladder infection, that is cystitis, infection of kidney. The bacterial infection can cause inflammation of kidney known as pyelonephritis. The condition when white blood cells comes in urine is called leukocyturia. Holding urine for a longer interval can lead to infection and the urine becomes strong smelling. Third is casts. Urinary casts are tiny tube-shaped or cylindrical-shaped particles. These are the result of precipitation of proteins in the tubules. Their secretion is increased in glomerular and tubular diseases. Casts can be of different varieties, as seen in the picture, can be of WBC, epithelial, RBC, granular, or hyaline. First is hyaline cast with dehydration and diuretic medicines. Leukocyte cast can be of inflammatory origin or necrosis of the tubules or the kidney. Red cell cast can be due to bleeding in the kidney or nephrons or in the tubules of the nephrons, and the condition is not. The last is epithelial cells. Renal tubular epithelial cell cast reflects damage. It can be seen in the conditions like renal tubular necrosis, urinary tract infections, and yeast infections. Thank you. The next division will be continued by Priyanka.
I'm speaker number 6, and for today's webinar, my topic is concentration and dilution test. The very first question that arises is why we do or perform these concentration or dilution tests, and the answer is to evaluate the functional capacity of the renal tubules.
Your voice is not clear.
Now, am I audible? The very first question arises is why we do or perform the concentration and dilution test, and the answer is to evaluate functional capacity of the tubules. Ability of the nephron to concentrate or dilute urine is depending upon both functional activity of the tubular cells in the renal medulla and the presence of ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone. Failure to achieve adequate urinary concentration can be due to either effects within the renal medulla, that is nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, or due to the lack of ADH, that is central diabetes insipidus. Traditionally or normally, urinary concentration is determined by specific gravity of the urine, and the normal range is 1.003 to 1.030 and average is 1.018, which in cases of tubular disease remains constant approx 1.010, regardless of changing levels of plasma hydration. However, determination of urinary specific gravity provides only a rough estimate of osmolarity of the urine. A tubular disease can be diagnosed in its early stage by water deprivation, that is water concentration test, or water excess, that is water dilution test. Now we will discuss the concentration test. In case water shortage in the body, the kidney can concentrate urine and conserve water. This is done by increasing the reabsorption of water from the glomerular filtrate at the tubular level. So the measure of the ability of the kidney to conserve water and concentrate urine is a measure of tubular function. For this test, the patient is not allowed to take any food or water. The first 3 urine samples passed in the morning are collected and their specific gravity measured. In a normal person, the specific gravity of at least one of the samples should be above 1.025 or above. If the specific gravity remains below this, one function. Now, dilution test. Like the concentration test, the dilution is also measure of tubule. In cases of fluid overload of our body, the tubule reabsorb lesser amounts of water. For test, it is put on overnight fast. Then in the morning, the subject is made to drink about 1200 ml of water over time period of 30 minutes. Then the urine samples are collected every 4 hours. Specific gravity of the samples is measured and at least one of the samples should have specific gravity of 1.003 or less. If none of the samples have the specific gravity of 1.00 or less, this is a sign of tubular function. Thank you. Now further will continue.
स्लाइड शो हो रही है?
Yes.
रीनल फंक्शन टेस्ट, ये 4 टाइप के होते हैं: यूरिन एनालिसिस, कंसंट्रेशन एंड डायल्यूशन टेस्ट, ब्लड केमिस्ट्री, रीनल क्लियरेंस टेस्ट, एंड माय टॉपिक इज ब्लड केमिस्ट्री. इसमें 3 पार्ट्स होते हैं: यूरिया, ब्लड यूरिया नाइट्रोजन और क्रिएटिनिन. Impairment of renal function result is evaluation of end product of protein metabolism. This include increased accumulation of certain substance in the blood, increased azotemia. Normal range: urea 20 to 40 mg per deciliter, blood urea nitrogen 10 to 20 mg per deciliter, creatinine 0.5 to 1.5 mg. High level of creatinine are associated with high level of beta 2 macroglobulin in the serum as well as urine. Low usually in the urine due to glomerular disease or due to increased production by the liver. Urea. Urea is a major nitrogenous end product of protein and amino acid metabolism produced by liver and distributed throughout intracellular and extracellular fluid. Urea is filtered freely by the glomeruli. Many renal diseases with various glomerular, tubular, interstitial, or can be cause an increase in plasma urea concentration. Plasma concentrations also tend to be slightly higher in male than females. High protein diet causes significant increase in plasma urea concentration and urinary excretions. Measurement of plasma creatinine provides a more accurate measurement than urea because there are many non-renal factors that affect level. Blood urea level is normally doubled when the GFR is halved. BUN, blood urea nitrogen. It is a test to measure the amount of urea nitrogen present in the blood. BUN is the measure of the amount of nitrogen present in blood in the form of urea. Normal value 10 to 20 mg per deciliter. Serum creatinine. It is a breakdown of creatinine phosphate in muscles and is usually produced at a fairly constant rate by the body depending on muscle mass. Creatinine is filtered but not reabsorbed in kidney. Normal range is 0.8 to 0.3 mg per deciliter in men and 0.6 to 1 mg per deciliter in women. Increased serum creatinine. Impaired renal function, very high protein diet, anabolic steroid users, crash injury, and drugs. Thank you. Now, Saurabh will be explain further.
I'm speaker number 7 and my topic is renal clearance test. So first of all, what is renal clearance test? The basic principle of renal clearance test is we used to measure the some amount of factors which our body either produce or is injected with, and how much amount is cleared from our blood through urine. So, but most strongly it is named as creatinine clearance test because creatinine is the most used agent for the purpose. It is one of the most important estimation technique for GFR, giving of great knowledge regarding renal functioning and related disorders. So what is creatinine? Creatinine is a waste product of creatine, which is a chemical that the body used to supply muscles with energy. Creatinine is formed as a result of the natural breakdown of our muscle tissues and can then enter the blood. Under normal conditions, our kidneys filter the creatinine out of the blood, and the only way to excrete the creatinine is through the urine. What is the creatinine clearance test? The creatinine clearance is the test that allows us to assess the kidney functioning. It is usually measured using both the blood test and the urine test. Creatinine clearance can also be estimated from a mathematical formula that will use only the blood level of creatinine along with other factors such as age, race, and gender. Creatinine clearance testing determines our overall glomerular filtration rate, which reflects how well our kidneys are clearing the blood. So why do we need the creatinine clearance test? Anyone can be at a risk of kidney diseases at some point of time. However, some people are at a higher risk than others. That includes people who are more than the age of 60 years or having the factors such as diabetes, high blood pressure, family history of kidney diseases, African American, Asian, Native American, or Pacific Island background. Are they associated with elevated creatinine level? First of all, we must know that renal diseases aren't the kind of diseases which show symptoms very soon. So they are very much silent diseases, symptoms when they are more developed or at a higher pathology. So the symptoms which will appear later on will be problems, change in how often we urinate, loss of appetite, nausea, itching, and darkening of skin. How the test is to be performed? This test requires both the urine and blood samples to be collected. First, the urine is to be collected for 24 hours and then the blood sample is to be taken. The first urine is voided and discarded completely before starting the 24-hour collecting clock. This is done because the urine at that point of time is not created or generated by the body in that 24-hour span. And so if we consider that too, it will slightly affect our end results. If we discard the first urine, then the urine is collected for 24 hours normally as it is voided. After the 24-hour collection of urine, the blood sample keeps in and the patient is under. It is because there are some kind of medicines which will rise or decrease down the creatinine level of the body. So for the time being of the test, which means the 24-hour clock, eliminate all the factors which will either increase or decrease, which can be medicines or the physical exercises which will directly affect the creatinine level of the blood. So how to calculate the creatinine clearance? There are two ways, as I mentioned earlier. The first way is to calculate just from blood creatinine. So the formula is beneath, which will include the years of your age, weight in kgs, and serum creatinine level in milligrams per deciliter. We have to multiply the sum with 0.85 when we are calculating it for the women. The second one, the 24-hour collection process, it will be having factors U, which is urine creatinine level in milligrams per deciliter, V, which is volume of urine per minute, which will be calculated by multiplying the 24-hour volume of urine with 1440, which is number of minutes in an hour in 24 level, and A as surface area of examining. So the question will arrive, how we will calculate the surface area of examining. For the same, I have provided with you with the table, which will estimate the surface area of examinee as per the height in inches and weight in pounds. So from this table, we can estimate the surface area for the formula. So what is the normal creatinine clearance reading? The reported range of creatinine clearance can differ from lab to lab slightly because of the different measurements and test samples. But a normal set is 97 to 137 ml per minute for males and 88 to 128 ml per minute for females. What does the abnormal creatinine clearance test means? An abnormal creatinine clearance test means that the creatinine is not filtered properly by your kidneys, which directly means that your kidneys are somewhat at a risk of generating kidney disorders. So how to get the abnormal level of blood creatinine back to normal? Cut back the vigorous exercises. It will directly decrease down the degeneration of muscle fibers and will directly decrease down the synthesis of creatinine. Don't take supplements containing creatinine, that's very much obvious. Reduce your protein intake. So there will be a question that why protein intake reduction will affect the creatinine synthesis. So if our body won't have enough of the protein to regenerate the muscles, it will obviously decrease down the rate of degeneration of muscle fibers, which will indirectly affect the creatinine synthesis. Eat more fibers. Talk to a doctor about how much fluid you should drink. Try Critosin and WH30 plus. These are two kind of supplements used for weight loss and other renal disorder diseases, but they also have some side effects, so we must not jump directly on to them. Other agents used to perform renal clearance tests is inulin and mannitol. These two agents are the most preferred metabolized in the body. They are to be injected through the veins, and then the 24-hour clock is to be started collecting the urine, and then at the end of 24-hour collection, we have to take the blood samples, and the same is to be calculated through the formula I have provided earlier. Urea is the least used agent, since urea can both be produced and metabolized and depletion from the body. So we can't end up getting a perfect result of renal clearance test. Thank you. If anybody has some questions. Let's move on to Amika. Thank you.
I'm speaker number 8 and my topic is clinical application of RFT and some renal disorders and its clinical manifestation. At the outset, we have some questions. When is RFT done? What are the indication of RFT test? Before getting into answer of the above questions, we have to go through some renal disorders and its clinical manifestation. First, acute renal failure. Oliguria means low output of urine, and anuria, no urine, and sudden increase in metabolic waste products in the blood. Causes of acute renal failure. Acute renal failure is classified in 3: pre-renal cause, intrarenal cause, and post-renal cause. As you can see in the diagrammatic view of the cause of RFT, ARF is first is pre-renal disease are those which cause sudden decrease in blood flow of nephron. Renal ischemia can occur. It is an inadequate blood supply to an kidney, ultimately result in low GFR. It can also cause inadequate cardiac output and hypervolemia, decreased volume of circulating blood. Second, intrarenal cause is characterized by disease of renal tissue itself, or autoimmune disease is caused directly damage to kidney. It is further divided into 4 parts: glomerular disease, tubular injury, interstitial nephritis, vascular disease. Glomerular disease is caused by two types: inflammation in glomerulus and thrombosis occur in the blood. And tubular injury due to tubular necrosis, which is a tubular injury, or due to some kidney. Interstitial nephritis is a space between tubules inside kidney becomes inflamed and reduce ability to filter properly. Vascular disease by inflammation of the vessels or embolism, sudden blockage of artery by blood clot. Post-renal is an obstruction anywhere along the renal tract distal to the opening of collecting duct. It consists ureter, urinary bladder, and urethra. ARF caused by pre- and post-renal diseases can cause intrarenal disease. Clinical features: syndrome of acute nephritis, GFR decrease due to extensive proliferation of epithelial cells in the glomeruli, mild proteinuria, hematuria, edema, and mild hypertension. Protein in urine, blood in urine, edema, swelling, and hypertension. Diminished GFR and increased salt and water reabsorption can be seen. Acute tubular necrosis, destruction of tubular cells of the nephrons, accumulation of waste products result metabolic acidosis. Hyperkalemia means potassium level increases in blood. Hypernatremia, sodium level increases in blood. And hypervolemia, volume of the blood in level increases. Pre-renal syndrome caused by renal arterial obstruction, hypervolemia, and hypertension. GFR decreased, causing oliguria, azotemia, elevates BUN and creatinine level, fluid retention, and edema. Now we will discuss the clinical manifestation of acute renal failure: weakness, loss of appetite, anemia, nausea, vomiting, mental status changes, edema, fever, decrease or no urine output, hypertension, discolored urine, elevation in the plasma creatinine, proteinuria increases, abnormalities in urinalysis test, irregular heartbeat, shortness of breath can be seen. It is a RFT test of 52-year-old lady has an acute renal failure. In this, BUN and creatinine level is elevated and some other with other salt alterated. Here we can see the creatinine level above 3 can cause failure. GFR decrease less than 75% can cause failure. and end stage of kidney disease can be seen. Lab investigation, increased creatinine level is seen. BUN elevates, BUN is to creatinine ratio is greater than 20:1. Glomerular filtration rate altered. High grade tubular proteinuria can be seen in acute renal failure, and globulin decreased, hemoglobin decreased, due to which anemia occurs. Now, second, chronic renal failure. Chronic renal failure is a syndrome characterized by progressive and irreversible deterioration of renal function due to slow destruction of renal parenchyma, eventually cause death. Causes of CRF, glomerular pathology causing and tubulointerstitial pathology causing. Glomerular pathology causing can be divided into two: primary glomerular pathology. It causes chronic glomerulonephritis, abnormality in glomerulus of long time inflammation of glomeruli. Systemic glomerular pathology consists diabetic neuropathy. It is a long-term diabetes cause damage to the small blood vessels. Systemic lupus erythematosus is an inflammatory disease caused when tissue system, immune system attacks its own tissue. And serum sickness, nephritis. In tubulointerstitial pathology causing, vascular cause can cause nephrosclerosis resulting ischemia and necrosis of the renal tissue. In this, hardening of walls of small arteries of the kidney can be seen, which cause ischemia, inadequate blood supply, and necrosis, death of the cells. Infectious cause can cause chronic pyelonephritis. It is a pyrogenic infection causing bacterial infection, and toxic causing tubular injury. Obstructive cause can cause stone and blood clots tumor. CRF evolves progressively through 4 stages. In stage 1, marginal damage to the renal parenchyma is seen. In stage 2, renal parenchyma 75% destroyed. In stage 3, 90% is destroyed and is destroyed. In stage 1, GFR is 50% of the normal. In stage 2, GFR is 25% of the normal. And in stage 3, 10% of the normal. And 4, the GFR is 5% of the normal. BUN and creatinine level is normal at the first stage and elevates in the further stages. And stage 2, we can see due to stress, uremic syndrome, and it's stage 3, metabolic acidosis, hyperkalemia, calcium level is decreased in blood, and uremia. In stage 4, uremic syndrome by progressive primary and secondary systemic symptoms can be seen. Now we will discuss the clinical manifestation of full-blown CRF under 2 headings: primary uremic manifestation and secondary uremic manifestation. In primary, uremia develops when there is slow and progressive deterioration of renal function result imbalance. In secondary uremic manifestation, it develops fluid electrolyte acid-basic imbalance. In primary manifestation, metabolic acidosis occurs, hydrogen ion excess, bicarbonate level declines, hyperkalemia, potential level increases in blood, which decreases GFR, sodium and water imbalance decreases GFR, sodium retention occurs, hyperuricemia, uric acid increases in blood, decreases GFR, uric acid accumulation can be seen in the body. Azotemia, waste product of protein, metabolism fail, urea, creatinine, phenol, and guanidine level increases. Secondary uremic manifestation is encephalopathy, altered brain function, primary neuropathy, weakness, numbness, and pain of the neural damage, and dysfunction, congestive heart failure, and hypervolemia. Hypertension can be seen, pericarditis, swelling in the pericardium, and peptic ulcer, peptic ulceration in the lining of stomach cause nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Uremic frost on the skin, shallow yellow, and renal osteodystrophy and osteomalacia, fibrosis, ostis. These two are caused by the failure of calcium and potassium from the kidney. Fail to maintain the level of, and kidney damage can be seen below 90 and below 15 ml per minute per 1.73 meters square GFR. Kidney failure can be seen. And now lab investigation of chronic renal failure: increased creatinine, BUN level increases, bicarbonate declines if metabolic acidosis is present, glomerular filtration rate severe decrease, glomerular protein is seen, and hemoglobin decreases. Now the questions. When is RFT done? RFT is significant for the people with the diabetes, high blood pressure, and or heart diseases, any type of kidney dysfunction, experiencing pain during urination, and all the clinical features, signs, and symptoms of the disease we have discussed in the previous slides. RFT is also done to confirm the judgment of the disease. What are the indications of RFT? Increased BUN level indicates decreased kidney function. Increased serum albumin level indicates damaged kidney. Increased serum creatinine level indicates improper functioning of the kidney. Increased chloride and potassium level indicates kidney disease. Diseased sodium level indicates improper functioning of the kidney. GFR indicates the removal of waste and excess fluid from the blood. Thank you. And now here I end my topic. Thank you. And to sum up, Saurabh will take over.
So at the end, I would like to sum up with a summary. Kidney is a bean-shaped excretory organ which governs water-salt balance by filtering all the waste products through blood and excreting them in the form of urine. Renal function test is a number of tests conducted to estimate the GFR and renal functioning, and helps to check the renal imbalances and dysfunctioning before it starts producing the severe symptoms. BUN, uric acid, and creatinine are some of the factors to be studied to determine RFT. 4 tests to conduct under the umbrella named RFT, which are urinalysis, concentration and dilation test, blood calories test, as my partners described earlier. Another test other than above mentioned conducted to study tissue of the kidney is the renal biopsy. The renal biopsy is the procedure used to obtain the segment of renal tissue, usually through the needle or any other surgical instrument. Urine analysis is a physical, chemical, and microscopic examination of urine. In physical examination, we examine volume, color, odor, and specific gravity of urine. In chemical examination, we examine pH, glucose, protein, ketone bodies, bilirubin, and blood in the urine. All other tests are explained in detail by my group mates. Moving on to bibliography, we have taken out the material from pathology book and few of the web pages and e-libraries, which link we have been mentioned. And I would like to thank Prashant boss very much for supporting us all through the days we were preparing for the scene. Any questions regarding the topics?